Hi, nice to meet you all, guys. My name is Andres Felipe Lugo Rodriguez. I'm just going to be doing a little presentation about a specific topic and a really interesting topic, I would say, that I wanted to talk about today. So I'm just going to do a little presentation about myself first, and then we are going to deep into the topic. First, as I mentioned, I'm just going to present myself. My name is Andres Felipe Lugo. As I mentioned, you can just call me Felipe. I'm a 20-year-old information technology engineering student, and I'm currently taking my 8th semester at the Uniminuto College, which is located on Bogota, which is Colombia. I'm doing this presentation for the subject Ingeniería y desarrollo regional, which is translates something like engineering and regional development or something like that. That is basically a little bit about myself. So now we are going to jump right away into the important topic today, which is the thing that you might be seeing in the screen this moment. But this is basically for transport, more specifically public transportation systems. So basically, I wanted to mention that because I think that it's really important that you guys have like context and a clear image of what we are going to, to be talking about over here today. So this is basically a design that I made more than any other thing in order to give a possible solution, let's say, to a social problematic that is actually been happening for a long time in the neighborhood where I live. The thing is that because of many things in terms of development in general of the neighborhood, there's a couple of things that have been happening on the area for the last couple of years, such as corruption related issues, some bad designs on the structure of the roads, and at the end of the day, this is something that affect, us citizens, because those roads, talking about my neighborhood, are the only ones that we can actually use to move from this point of the city to another one. So that is basically the reason that I wanted to propose like a software solution in order to decrease like these kind of difficult situations. Just creating a simple app that can pre-schedule, let's say, the times when public buses transport through the neighborhood using a wonderful algorithm that is called Dijkstra, which is basically used to calculate like the fastest route to a certain point to another point, which is basically the thing that Google Maps or Waze or any other application that uses the GPA systems does. So, at this point you might be wondering like how this kind of solution help us in this situation. Well, this is something that relates with everything basically, because there are some circumstances that we need to take into account, such as the business area, pedestrians who transit across the area, and also the constructions that are being made on the roads. Because when everything mixes up on the area, there's basically chaos on the roads. So, with that being said, we are going to jump right into this diagram that you may be seeing in the screen this moment. And so we have here a use cases diagram. Actually, I'm not going to do that far into what this kind of diagram is. So just let me go ahead and explain it. These kind of diagrams are usually used to see like what kind of relations and situations can happen into the system. It's really simple since we have a GPS database which basically does everything for us. But I'm just going to give like a little explanation. So we actually have some roles, as we might be seeing on the screen. We have an unregistered user, a registered user, and an administrator, which are the ones that are going to be managing the login system, which is going to be necessary to use the app, basically. The unregistered user can, visualize and consult the information that is on the GPS database, basically. But as you might be seeing in this moment here, the registered user can do actually both. So this is something that is actually made that way. So either the the registered ones and the unregistered ones can actually use the and consult the app. But there's some like special thing that I want to mention here, and is that as you might be seeing here, the registered user can use a thing which is called a warehouse management system, which basically manage a lot of data. Nowadays we are talking about big amounts of data. So that actually allows the register user to have like more precise information, let's say. And well, this is actually basically the entire functionality of the system. I mean, it's really simple since the GPS databases have everything that we want to use. And in this moment, I think that it's really important to talk about the functional and non-functional requirements of the applications, which are basically used to bring like a better design piece of application. Talking about the functional ones, we have the ones that we need to take into account to develop a better application. Talking about some technical topics. We have here like the client administration, of course. We need a login system. We need the thing that I mentioned before, which is the warehouse management system. And API gateway is really important because this thing is, well, you guys can think of it as a communicator, between like every piece of entity, let's say, on the system, let's say between the user and the database and the administrator. That API gateway like is the one that is in charge to provide the communication between all of them. Some certification, of course, and some data administration system, which is the client. Basically, the client is the one that is going to be using that data administration system, so we can store all of the data, so we can analyze all of the data later on in order to maybe provide different solution that works perfectly with this one. And now talking about the non-functional, we are talking about the ones that are more system related ones, talking about graphical interface and all that. So that is actually one of the non-functional ones. As I mentioned, we have the user graphical interface of the GUI, as you guys have heard of it. That must be present. Of course, there needs to be some security policies as well that are going to be basically managed through the API gateway, and some standards that need to be done. This is actually it. Those are basically like the requirements of the system. Well, I know that it might seem that those are not sufficient for the purpose, but at the end of the day, we need to define those things clear and simple, of course. So once we start developing the actual product, we have some fundamentals to start with. So that is basically it for today. I just wanted to show like that little presentation about my idea to to bring a solution to this specific neighborhood, which is the one where I've been living since I was a little kid. And I really wanted to thank if you stayed until this point listening to my crazy ideas. I just wanted to to mention an additional thing that is really important. And I believe that us professionals, we need to take all of the things that we learn through the years, through the career, and through to our experience, in order to resolve these kind of problematics that can have like a positive impact on the society. And I will say that this is one of the most beautiful things about my career. The fact that as an engineer, you can just transform a crazy idea into something that really helps people, especially when you relate with them. Because this is actually a fun fact. That talking about myself, I usually take more than 2 hours from home to college using the public transportations, and most of the time the issue starts because of the horrible state of the roads in my neighborhood. So this is basically the little reflection that I wanted to do. Once again, I really want to thank you for staying until this point, and I really hope that, to see you maybe in another situation in which I can help you as a professional. And well, that was basically it for today. I really hope that you have a great day or night. And well, that will be basically it.